is Hunter Cain. I am the TSA Trainer for Standard Supply and Distributing. This morning we'd like to speak with you about the MARS Azure Digi Motor. It is a direct replacement for the X13 and most forms of PSC motors. Let's talk about installation today. We'll start out with removing the PSC motor. Take your motor out, capacitors out. This motor does not require a capacitor even in PSC form. Take note of all of your speed taps and where they're hooked up. Remove the motor, install the new one. Wiring, we'll start out with this big harness. You have a 2-wire harness here, it's ground and neutral. You hook them up accordingly to the neutral on your board, ground on your unit. It plugs into the bottom, snap it in place. And next, you have your harness with all your speed taps, and they are all labeled. This plugs into the same plug with this flat plastic piece sticking up. Make sure you push it in good and tight. We'll then bring these wires down and hook them up to the same speed taps that your PSC was hooked up to. This plug in PSC mode snaps straight together. Have your surge protector. It plugs right in. The surge protector, if it's blown for whatever reason, you can remove it, plug these two plugs together, and the motor will continue to run to keep your homeowner happy. It does need to be replaced. It is an optional part. So once you get that done, you know what your existing motor is. You start out with the voltage taps, 115 or 230 volt. Depending upon what it is, it's either open or closed. In this instance, closed, which is just plugged together, is 115 volts. Unplugged is 220. I do suggest that any of these plugs that are left unplugged are covered with electrical tape or something to protect them from moisture. You have counterclockwise and clockwise rotation. And the blue tap tells you whether it's a PSC or an X13. In the PSC, we would close it. And once you have all that done, you take this little harness with your brown and white wire on it, plug it into its Molex plug, hook it to 24 volts, just hot and common. Close up your unit, make sure your filters are clean and there are no restrictions. It will then run for 5 minutes, and it will actually set its own airflow based on static pressure. Now once you've completed that, open it up, remove this harness, close your system back up, turn it on and check all your readings. So temperature splits across the coil and refrigerant to make sure you have proper airflow. Next is for an X13. The only difference in the X13 and the PSC is you unplug this. You don't use your neutral and ground. Your existing factory harness for your power for your X13 will plug directly into here. Same thing when you remove your X13, make sure you check your speed taps, hook these back up accordingly. You will then unplug this plug. Your 24 volt module, which looks like this, will then plug in that line. Same thing on your taps, power, rotation. This blue wire for an X13 has to be unplugged or opened. You then again take your harness, plug it in, attach it to 24 volts, close your system up, make sure all filters are clean and there are no restrictions. It will set itself based on static pressure. When that is done and the motor ramps down, open your unit back up, Take this out, check all operation, temperature splits across your coil, and your refrigerant pressures to make sure you have proper airflow across. If you do not have proper airflow, there is an optional tool that you can plug into here that will actually set your CFM or your torque for you so you can get it right where you need. That is an optional accessory that can be purchased and used on any motor. So that concludes the installation of the Azure Digi Motor by MARS.